there is competition everywhere, right? How does Shatha work on her differentiation?
I don't know if I should be sharing my secrets, but okay. See, I know one of the things, and this is client feedback, right? So I don't know, but for me, my work tempo is extremely high. Clients come before anything. Unfortunately, sometimes they come before my health, which I don't advise. But I could be in a hospital just getting out of a surgery, and I'll take that call if I have to. The extent of. But I think now that with good relationships, they take care of me. To be fair with you, they're like, when you have time, give us a call. When you have time, come back to us. But of course, I'm dealing with a lot of new relationships every day. And one thing that we definitely differentiate is I always tell everyone, please be extremely responsive. So we have very simple rules. If a client reaches out to us, if it's an email, you need to respond within 4 hours maximum.
Wow.
I don't care what happens during the day, within 4 hours. If they contact us after 5 p.m., you can still reply back that evening. You can at least acknowledge. We have to acknowledge. You don't have to take action. Acknowledge, received your email, and you'll hear back from us, tomorrow or the day after. Actually, I don't have patience. It's never more than 24 hours notice. The other thing is, if a client says, I need to urgently meet you, I'm ready to meet them right away. I will reorganize my meetings, my schedule, prioritize and all. But the feedback I have received from some of the clients, they said, whenever we try to call a partner or an MD, it takes them at least a week to 10 days to give us a time, And I think also it's a huge blessing with the pandemic. Now they're comfortable with, I'm like, listen, I can't be at 2 different locations within this period of time. Can we do a Teams meeting? And then I'll meet you again. And they're like, okay, let's do that. So, so I could even have a Teams meeting while I'm driving, I've been, it's benefited me in many ways. So I'm like, just give me a call. As soon as I'm done with that meeting, I'm on the road, I can head out and have a conversation with you. But I think when you talk about differentiation, we are very highly responsive. I will not forgive anyone if a client is sending us a reminder. I'll just tell you that much. I do not want any client to send us a reminder for anything. The client needs to know that we're here, we heard you, we're coming back to you, and we honor. And to be honest with you, Venkat, I learned this from our former chairman, who passed away, unfortunately, a very young, thriving, wonderful man. And I used to tell this to everyone, there's no excuse in our organization when the chairman honors his word. When he tells me, thanks for sending me this contract, I will come back to you at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. I'm not kidding. 9:55 a.m., he's back. And he's never, ever failed. He's never, as a chairman. So I'm like, if a chairman sets that communication standard, there's no excuse for anyone to fall short.
Wow. So the customer feels respected. The customer feels, oh, here is somebody who's invested in me, right?
100%, 100%.
Excellent. What have you learned about creating more high performers in your team, Shatha?
What have I learned or what have I been doing? See, for me, I make sure that I remember doing some kind of a psychological assessment, and I did it with my entire team. And one aspect of it was leadership, being noticed by others. What are our needs, and what do we do? What are our social aspects? How do we handle optimism at the office and all? And anyways, the results were very interesting because you can't manipulate them. And I tried to help everyone feel comfortable. I said, are we ready to share our results? And everybody kept their hands down, and they didn't feel good about what they saw. And obviously I could understand, because when I saw my results, my leadership was 4 out of 10. But I know why it's 4 out of 10. There's multiple reasons for that. So I told the occupational psychologist, she's a doctor, I told her, you know what, put my results up, because my need to be noticed was a 0 and my leadership is 4. Okay, but my social and my optimism was a 10.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So I said, I understand the story. This wouldn't have been the same 10 years ago or 5 years ago, but in my current position, and I tried to explain to the team, I don't believe I can be the only leader. If I feel the need to be a leader at 10, What is my team doing? I'm a team player, like all of you. I said, I have my people who bring me information. I have my people who are telling me what's going on in the projects that they're working on. I have people who are, building relationships with middle management, with junior management, passing on messages, what's happening, what are the discussions on the corridor, what are clients talking about, what are their pain areas. I mean, there's so many things in our job. And my need to be noticed is a zero because I feel noticed. I'm like, I'm either writing, business articles, I'm at events. I don't need to be noticed any more than I am already. So now, when those results were seen and my social skills, that is a 10, not because I am a social person, but it showed that I'm making an effort, a 10 effort in socializing. But my need to belong is very low. So I don't need to belong to a group. I don't need to belong to an individual, but I make a very high effort to be a social person. So they also understood. I told them, listen, I don't have that need. I need to be, close to my team, but I don't need that in the space of my workplace as long as I'm delivering what is needed. But I make an effort of a 10. My optimism is a level of 10. And usually with core composure and, how we are composed at work, and even the emotional aspects or emotional restraint are typically low amongst all people, not just within my team. I noticed that this is actually across different sectors, across different levels. The ratings of optimism, emotional restraint, and composure are all low. But they cover it, by just pretending to be okay on the outside. And then as you have those coaching discussions with them, or the discussion of those reports, you start to see that, yeah, I'm not so happy. I've been a deputy for so long, or I've been doing this and that. But anyways, after I shared those results, the whole team's mindset changed. Everybody said, you know what? Let's talk about mine. Let's talk about mine. Even those who had leadership skills that I saw in them, they used to tell me, no, I'm not a leader. I said, listen, I was with you in the meetings. The first time I see you talk to the client, you're fantastic. And it was amazing that the report showed that about him, but he was still in denial. So after, a lot of discussions with him, I realized it was his boss who was overshadowing him, So it's a very interesting aspect. But, back to your question, this is, I have been extremely transparent with my team. I take even the trainees to board meetings, to client meetings. This is not something very common that happens, but I said, when are they going to learn? When are they going to build their confidence? So I take my trainees, I'm like going to meet the CEO. I'm like, come along with me. There's no reason, unless the CEO has a very confidential discussion that wants to talk to me alone. And I can see that my clients have a lot of respect for that. They're saying, she takes care of her people. She's bringing these young people into these board meetings, into, strategic discussions. Why are they bringing? I tell them, please, my only reason for bringing this person here is I want them to learn how to listen, to see how great our CEOs in the country are, to take minutes. This person doesn't have to talk or do anything else, So I can see also my team has built a lot of confidence that I didn't have 15 years ago. When I was, 5 years into my job. Their level of confidence is, I would say, 50 times higher than me, because I'm giving them everything that I didn't get. And so now they're natural salespeople, because the one best advice I got from my country, from my market leader in the US, and she's a woman, and she said, Shatha, I only have one advice for you, which I got 40 years ago. So we're talking about 60 years ago in consulting. She was coached by her boss. So this is a 60-year-old advice, maybe even older, but it's minimum 60. She said that to be a good consultant, you need to go meet with the client, and you should come back with at least 3 opportunities. If you've not identified at least 3 problems or 3 opportunities, then you need to reflect on what would make me a better consultant. We're not saying that it has to become, it doesn't have to convert into a sales, but at least identify 3 problems. So I passed that to my team, and I was very impressed by the younger people. So the younger people who started fishing for information, and they'll come back to me and say, by the way, they're planning to do this. By the way, they're having struggled with this. By the way, they don't have money, but this is their problem, So I found, these little small gems of advice or wisdom that I've received from my previous bosses. I pass it on to them.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what I'm learning here is that you led with vulnerability first. You're absolutely 100%. Transparent. You provide opportunity to people. You're invested in their growth, right?
100%.
And you give them structures, frameworks where they can come out and be themselves.
See, I always tell people this, if to know how well invested you are in yourself is correlated to how well invested are you in your people. It's that plain and simple.
Exactly.
You know, and I honestly, my time is literally split 50-50. Although at my level, it should be more with the market and more with the clients, but literally 50% is like therapy sessions, talking sessions with my team throughout the week. And when I go to see my team, I don't take my laptop, it's down, my phone is switched off. I'm just having conversations with the team.
Beautiful.